Hello, my name is Elske Vaal and this is Bible Words in Hebrew, Rediscover the Bible. For the last few films, we have discussed Musar character traits, but this time we are going to study a verb, and the verb that we are going to study is to search. Tomorrow night on Friday, September 15th of 2023, it's Erev Rosh Hashanah, the night of Rosh Hashanah, and on Saturday and Sunday Rosh Hashanah is also celebrated in the Jewish community. Rosh Hashanah means head of the year or first of the year, so it's Jewish New Year. And in the previous video I talked about the month Elul, which precedes Rosh Hashanah. Today we are still in that month. Today is Thursday, December 14th of 2023. And in the month Elul it is said the king is in the field. God is very near to help people who want to do teshuvah, to turn around, to turn their lives around, to stop a bad habit or to build a new good habit. This is an auspicious time, and of course God is always near people who earnestly search him, but this time, according to Jewish tradition, is very special. So that is why today we study the word to search. And in Hebrew there are multiple words for the verb to search, and for this study I chose the word dárash, but there's more words that mean to search. We start with the Bible verse Isaiah 55 verse 6 from the Current Jerusalem Bible. That's a translation I mostly use when I make these little movies in English. And Isaiah 55 verse 6 says, "Seek the Lord while he may be found, call upon him while he is near." And well, this is the time that he is near. And this verse also seems to imply that there's a time when God is not particularly near, or perhaps it means that there are times that we don't feel like God is near, that we feel like we cannot reach out to him, or it's difficult to reach out. So while he may be found, seek him. This verb is how do you say? The verb is here imperative, and you see that there's a little vav. I made it red at the end of the verb. That is because it is an imperative variation on this verb. Yes. This verb, according to the dictionary, has two forms, kol and nifal. In kol, the verb can be translated as to seek, to examine, to investigate, inquire, or to demand, desire, ask, or to visit. And the nifal, that's kind of a passive use of the verb. Nifal is to be sought, to be explored, to allow oneself to be sought. Isaiah 55, there the verb was a call, and in all the verses that I use in this study will be in call. Some word connections. Word connections are words that have a lot of the same characters, the same letters. And in Hebrew, when a lot of characters of the word are the same, we can suspect that there's some connections in the meaning of the words as well. Midrash, that's our word with mem in front of it. That means inquiry, examination, or commentary. The Midrash is a famous commentary on the Tanakh, on the Jewish Bible. And in the Jewish Bible, this word can be found in the book of 2nd Chronicles, and only there. And it's found there 2 times. So, Midrash. To examine a text, to do an inquiry of a text. Of course, that's a kind of search. It's a search for meaning in this text. Dar, all the letters of Dar are in the word dárash. And Dar is only found in Esther 1 verse 6, so it's kind of hard to be sure of the meaning, but it is suspected that it means pearl or mother of pearl. So something beautiful, something shiny, and to find beautiful things, especially in a study of the Bible, one has to study, one has to search, one has to do dárash. Then door, here without a wav, but it's also spelled dalet wav, resh. Dor is a period of a man's life or generation or age. The first mention of this word is Genesis 6 verse 9. And the generations before us, of course, have also searched for God, searched for truth, and searched the texts. So we should be thankful for that, and be familiar with those texts. Then the last word, rash, those are the 2 last characters of the word dárash, and rash means to be poor or needy. Well, when you know that you're poor or needy, maybe you're in need of knowledge or wisdom or closeness to God, then of course you have to do some searching, and then you'll find. The first mention of the word rash is 1 Samuel 18 verse 23, where David said, I'm too poor, too insignificant to associate with the king. And of course we know that the king is glad when needy people ask for him. Characters. The first is dalet, numerical value of 4. Dalet means door, and it stands for opening to new worlds, new knowledge, and being true to tradition when you enter those new worlds. Well, of course, when we search, especially when we search for wisdom, when we search the Bible, we open doors, or doors are opened for us. Resh, numerical value 200, means head or predecessor or principal or first. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. And so when we start searching for wisdom, we know where to start. And then shin, numerical value 300, means tooth, and it stands for processing, for grounding, also for paying. The meaning paying is also in the word dárash. We will see that with the first mention of the word. And of course, the shin is the first character of the word shalom, which means wholeness or peace. The first mention is Genesis 9 verse 5, where it says, "And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast I will require it, and at the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother I will require the life of man." In this first mention, the Lord says how valuable a human life is to him, and that he takes the killing of human life very seriously. He will require it, he will search it and make sure he requires it. Genesis 25 verse 22, "And the children struggled together within her." Her is Rebekah, and the children are Esau and Jacob. "And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord." She knew where she had to go with her trouble, with her questions. She went to the Lord. She searched for him. Deuteronomy 4 verse 29, "But if from there thou shalt seek the Lord thy God, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul." You see that in this verse the word seek appears 2 times, but only the second time I made it red. That's because the first word that is translated as seek is not the word dárash, but it's another Hebrew word. So it's quite a poetical text, and it promises that when we seek the Lord with all our hearts and with all our souls, we shall find him. Deuteronomy 11 verse 12, "A land which the Lord thy God cares for. The eyes of the Lord thy God are always upon it, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year." Well, we are at the beginning of a year, of a new year. So I thought this text was beautiful. And of course, God says this to his people when they are in the desert. And he talks about the land of Canaan, which they are yet to possess. And our word dárash is translated as cares. And that was not in the dictionary, but I think it's a good translation here. God searches this land, and when you search something, it's all you're occupied with, and God is very occupied with this land. His eyes are upon it all year long. Deuteronomy 12 verses 5 and 30, "But to the place which the Lord your God shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there, there shall you seek him at his dwelling, and there shalt thou come." And verse 30, "Take heed to thyself that thou be not ensnared into following them, after they are destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, How did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise." So here in Deuteronomy 12 it says who and what you should seek and what you should absolutely not seek. Those were a lot of verses from Torah, from the first 5 books of the Jewish Bible, the Hebrew Bible. I thought there were a lot of beautiful verses where this verb appeared. Now another verse from the prophets. Isaiah, of course, was a prophet, and now Hosea. Hosea 10 verse 12, sow for yourselves by righteousness, reap by the scale of love. Break up your fallow ground, for it is time to seek the Lord, till he comes and rains righteousness upon you. Psalm 9, verse 11 and 13 are the first mention in the book of Psalms. And they that know thy name will put their trust in thee, for thou, Lord, hast not forsaken those who seek thee. And verse 13, for he avenges blood, he remembers it. He does not forget the cry of the humble. So here we see those two meanings, where it says that his people, the people, should seek the Lord, and that the Lord sees, avenges, requires the blood of the people who are oppressed. The last verse of this study is Psalm 34 verse 5, where it says, I sought the Lord, and he answered me, and delivered me from all my fears. Psalm 35 is an acrosticon, which means that every new verse starts with the following letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and verse 5 starts with dalet, with the word that we study, dárash, T, for the people who know Hebrew a little, means I, so dárashti is I sought. So I thought this was a beautiful verse to end this study with. If you would like to study Hebrew in a way that that's really helpful and that helps you love the language as it helped me to love the language, you should consider studying with this book by Study House Rashid. If you do, please let me know, because I know teachers in Israel who would maybe be willing to start up a course in English also, but the book should be available on Amazon and maybe in bookstores. I actually don't know, but I think it's available on Amazon. Hebrew in 6 Days by Study House Rashid. It's a very valuable book to learn to love the Hebrew language and to learn to do your own word studies. If you want to know more, you can visit my blog, elskevaal.blog, and if you want a heads up with every new video, you could send me an email at elskevaal@gmail.com. I'm sorry if my English wasn't always perfect. I know it isn't. If you have tips for me, I'd love to hear that. I'd love to hear from you, of course. And if you celebrate Rosh Hashanah, if you are Jewish, I wish you Shana Tova, a good new year, and a very sweet new year also. If you don't celebrate Rosh Hashanah, but you want to do something to know for yourself that this is a very special time in the Jewish calendar, you could taste the sweetness of a new year by eating apples with honey. That's a nice way to think of Rosh Hashanah with yourself and your family and friends. I wish you a good and sweet New Year, and Shabbat Shalom. Litraut.